It's really easy to get up every single day when you're doing something that fulfills you. When you're living in your purpose, when you're living in your truth, when you are just happy being you. And one of the biggest things is, I believe we should all run our own business. I think we should all control our 24 hours and what we choose to do with it. And I was never around anyone who loved their job. So I don't know what that feels like, nor have I seen other people in my personal life who have experienced it. So I don't know. I would imagine that it's a beautiful thing. So if you're someone who loves your job and you feel fulfilled there and you get up every single day, or at least most days, like ready to do your job, like that's amazing. And I'm proud of you. But because that wasn't my experience with any job that I had, I can't speak on that. What I can speak on is the experiences that I had working my 9 to 5s, which was a very miserable feeling. It was a feeling of trapped, feelings of anxiety, depression, feeling like, is this all life has for me? And it wasn't until I was 30 when I quit. I left my job during COVID, and I have been a full time entrepreneur for the past 4 years. I just turned 34 on Sunday. And living in my purpose is amazing. I look forward to creating content every single day, no matter how tired I am. Now, yes, there are moments, and I use the word moments with emphasis, because just like with anything, just because something doesn't feel good in that moment doesn't mean that it never feels good. All right, so just because you're having a bad moment in the day does not mean that your day is bad. Okay, even if you've had two bad moments in the day, that does not mean that the full 24 hours was a bad day. Okay, so yes, there are moments in the day where I may be ready to stop, or I may just not feel 1000% up to it like I do most days. But because I love creating content, more times than not, I am excited to do this. And that's because I found what makes me happy. I have found my purpose. For you, you may be asking, well, how do I find mine? There's a couple of things that I did over the past 4 years that led me to where I am now, creating the type of content that I create today. And one thing is, I spent a lot of time by myself. A lot of time by myself. When I quit my 9 to 5 and started doing my OnlyFans full time, I wasn't around a lot of people. Everybody was at work. So there wasn't anyone to text, there wasn't anyone to call. I truly had to be by myself. And I couldn't depend on conversations and gossip and other things to distract me. On top of that, I had to make money on OnlyFans if I wanted to keep my house, if I wanted to keep the lights on, if I wanted to keep the internet on, right? I had bills. So I had to focus on that. When I had a 9 to 5, I could kind of skate by, right? Just do just enough to stay under the radar without, getting written up, losing my job. But I never had to go above and beyond either, right? I just had to do just enough to keep the peace. When you're running your own business, you have to do more than just enough if you want to pay the bills and keep the lights on. You have to go above and beyond. And so that's what I had to do. And because it's what I had to do, I didn't have time to hang around people like I used to. So I spent a lot of time by myself. And when you spend a lot of time by yourself, you start to hear from God. There's nothing distracting you anymore. And I consider hearing from God like a seed put into your head, like an idea. And sometimes your ideas come and go. Like I've had a million ideas, they come and go. But I feel like when that idea keeps coming back and you can't escape it, no matter how hard you try, that's God really telling you, like, this is what I need you to do. And I started to get this seed, like, I need to go to counseling. And like I said, it would come and go. I'd think about it, might research a few counselors, then go to hell with it and keep doing what I'm doing. But it got to a point where it never went away. And I kept thinking about I should go to counseling. And so I finally went. And I talked to you guys so much about the importance of mental health and healing your traumas, dealing with your pain, and learning how to be comfortable in your own skin. And that's a game changer. The reason why I'm so confident in myself today is because I took that time years ago to work on myself and to heal myself. And I recommend that everybody does that. So, I got my mental health in check, like God told me to do. When I started to do that, I let go of a lot of bad vices. I was overweight. I lost 100 pounds. I was drinking every day. I stopped drinking. I have not had a drink in 3 years. I don't smoke anymore. I used to smoke weed. I was doing a whole bunch of self-medicating because I was trying to avoid me. Okay? But once I stopped doing that, once I healed myself mentally, I stopped and I started to take care of myself. By taking care of myself and losing weight and stopping the alcohol, now my mind is more clear. I'm able to be more focused. I'm fueling my body with healthy foods. I'm not distracting myself with being drunk and buzzed, tipsy. I'm clear mentally. I'm not dwelling on things that happened 10 years ago that I can't let go of. I'm finally at a space in my mind where there's nothing bothering me. I found peace. And when you can find peace and you're not living stressed and frustrated and angry and just all the negative emotions that come along with not being happy, you can think more clearly. And when you can think more clearly, you come up with ideas, these seeds. You can start to hear from God more. You get more seeds, more breakthroughs, as people call them, telling you to do this, do that, try this, try that. But I never got those breakthroughs when I was keeping my mind clouded with negativity. So some of the breakthroughs that I got was start recording my weight loss and fitness journey. And I've talked to you guys about how I was questioning that because I wasn't ripped and jacked, right? I still have belly fat. I have cellulite. I was critiquing my body. And God was telling me it doesn't matter. Post it. And I realized by posting it, there's a lot of women just like me who want to lose weight, who have cellulite, who have rolls, who have all of these imperfections that society makes us feel like we should be ashamed of. And by doing that, by posting that type of content and sharing my journey with the world, I became less and less worried about how I looked to other people. Because now I'm seeing the transformation of my body and all the hard work paying off. It's building my self-confidence. It's showing me that I can do anything I put my mind to. Okay, so the limiting beliefs that I once had are going away. I'm starting to become comfortable with who I am, despite the cellulite that some people try to make me feel bad for, despite the rolls or whatever else people try to critique about my body. I no longer cared. Then I started incorporating my journey of mental clarity, how I work through some of the things that I've gone through. I started incorporating that into my content. And at first I was like, no, because I don't want to come off crazy. I don't want to be judged. I don't want people to know, things that I've gone through. But it was like God was telling me, you're not the only one. And for the longest time, I never wanted to share my experience with alcohol abuse. I just got to a point, I would say within the last year and a half, where I'm comfortable with admitting to the fact that I had an alcohol problem. For the longest time, I would say, oh no, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. No, you're being dramatic. I would, because I couldn't, it was my ego. It was my pride trying to make me feel better about the situation. But the truth of the matter is, I was drinking every day. That's a problem. That's abuse. That's alcohol abuse. But I finally got to a point in feeling so comfortable in my own skin and being okay with who I am, that I was able to finally share that. And now I can say it openly and not feel ashamed. I've forgiven myself for all of the things that I did to myself because I didn't know how to heal myself. Okay? So by doing those things, by clearing your minds, learning how to live in peace, learning how to let go of people and things that no longer serve you, that continue to bring negativity to your life, you're able to be free from so many traps, as I call it, so many distractions. And once you're free from that, you can start to do things that make you happy because now your focus is only on you. It's not on the past. It's not on the people around you. It's on you. You find this new sense of love for yourself that you might not have ever had. I never had it. And it's a beautiful feeling. And I hope and pray that anyone watching this video experiences this because it's an amazing feeling. And I don't really know how else to explain it. I go to bed just fine. I sleep just fine at night. I'm not tossing and turning in bed worrying about things that I can't control anymore like I once used to. I'm okay when people leave my life. I don't need people to feel whole. There was a point where I needed friends to feel validated. I needed to know that other people liked me in order for me to like myself. And that was a very dark place to be. And to not be there anymore is amazing. It's amazing. So today, and for the past year, I would say, it's been so easy for me to get up every single day and do this every single day because this is what makes me happy every single day, right? And in every video, you guys have probably heard me mention mental health in some way, shape, or form, counseling, healing, because it's that important. It is that important. I don't think anyone grew up with the most perfect parents. Our parents did the best that they knew how to do with who they were at that time. So no matter what you might have experienced, once you realize that that was the best they could do with who they were, or, then you kind of take your ego out of it and you start to accept people for who they are in that moment. And maybe they'll change, maybe they never will. But that's the best that they're capable of doing, right? And when you look at things like that, it's easier to forgive people. I used to hold on to things and the way people treated me or how they made me feel. And I had to understand that that's who they were at that time, right? And when you can take your ego out of it, when you can take your pride out of it, you're able to let it go. Let it go. And not hold on to those things, because holding on to stuff like that, it prevents you from growing. It prevents you from finding peace and being happy with yourself so that you can finally do the things that you love to do and not feel embarrassed, shame, or any negative feelings. So get by yourself. Spend some time by yourself. Don't feel like you have to be around people all the time. Spend time alone, just listening. Spend time, not stressing about things that you can't control, bills, money, relationships. Just get to a quiet place and just listen. And it might take a really long time to hear what God is trying to tell you, because your mind might be so clouded with all these other distractions. But just keep listening, and eventually you'll hear it. Something will lead you to something else. That's God. That's God. But a lot of times we can't hear that because we're in a room full of distractions. We're in a room full of other people's opinions, their negative energy, our own negative energy, right? We're living in the past, or we're living in the future. We're never living in the moment. So work on that, because once you find your purpose, once you finally figure out what truly makes you happy, you're able to do it every single day. And then you're able to figure out how to monetize that thing so that you can pay your bills, so that you can keep the lights on. And because God gave that to you, He's going to make sure that you never go without, because you're finally living for God, not for other people. All right? Bye, you guys.